hot. So welcome back to the channel. So what I'm doing today is we just laid the babies down for a nap. Mama Llama worked last night and tonight, so she went down for a nap. So I figured I'll just bring the baby monitor out here and try to get this brush pile burnt up. It rained yesterday and last night. It's gonna rain again, I think tomorrow. So everything's pretty wet. Grass isn't very tall, but it's all very wet, very green. So I'm not too concerned about the fire spreading. We also don't have a lot of wind today. And so I felt pretty comfortable doing this. Kind of what I was going for was, these are some old railroad ties from another project we're working on that we ripped out. And then I grabbed an armload of firewood. And so my theory was, put the firewood down, make a nice hot spot under the railroad ties. So start the firewood, firewood starts railroad ties start everything else. And it worked out well. I used about 4 gallons of diesel to get this fire started and a little bit of the propane torch. So once that fire was started, it was kind of on the edge of the brush pile. So what I was worried about at that point is the railroad ties would burn up, but it wouldn't necessarily catch the trees and the crap on fire. So that's what I just did, is I used the Bobcat, tilted the blade kind of like a dozer, and put the blade just barely above the ground, and I pushed those railroad ties into the brush pile to the point where my tracks started slipping. So hopefully, the hope is at this point it should catch all those trees on fire. Trees will continue to catch things on fire, and the fire will just grow and grow and grow. So when I start these brush pile fires, I don't try to start the whole thing at once. What you're going for is one central hot spot. So if you just focus all of your starting abilities on one spot and try to get it kind of in towards the center a little bit, it will eventually take off. And depending on how wet the wood is, how wet the ground is, how wet the air is, it could take it a little while to get started. It might be very difficult to get started if everything's really wet, but it will start. So this is kind of my plan for the day, is deal with babies and watch this burn. And hopefully a lot of this will be just watching it from the house. Because again, the house is just right there. I mean, I can see this pile from my chair in the living room. So that's kind of why I really want this gone before summer comes. And I don't want this brush pile sitting here for the next 3 years. This pile was from our fence project along the road here from just last summer. So all of this used to be in my fence line. So yeah, now it's just a matter of watch a fire burn. Have just woken up from their nap, so I went ahead and just left the Kubota right there at the fire, and I went ahead and walked to the house because I'm thinking we're gonna go ahead and do lunch for the babies and then let them play for a while, let that fire burn for an hour or so, and then I'll probably just throw them in the truck and just drive back down to the fire here in a little bit. I also went ahead and let Coco into the dog lot so she can eat on what's left of the grass in here, because her lot is eating down pretty good. And having this little horse just right out our back deck has been pretty fun. Not a bad little setup. At least for the summer months when the girls are wanting to play with her all the time. And it's kind of muddy and I don't want them walking through the horse lots. Baby's eating their peas and carrots for lunch. Not sure what else we'll do. Maybe some pepperonis. Maybe some yogurt. What are you thinking, Jules? Well, so let's see. We did lunch with the babies, let them play for an hour or two. Did a couple of things on the computer, dishes, laundry, things like that, for a couple hours, and then I was able to get back out here because Mama Llama woke up. So I think it's burning up nicely. I think it's gonna need to be stirred a few more times before I call this said and done, but that's okay. I think at this point I'm just gonna let it go for an hour or two, go back to the house, check on babies and Mama Llama, and probably come back as soon as I put babies to bed and work on it tonight. So yeah, it's working. So just kind of a slow process.
Uh-oh.
All right, so where are we at? We are now getting to be about dark 30-ish. Babies are in bed, Mama Llama's at work. I've stirred this fire again. I'm losing hope that I'm gonna get it burned up 100%. I'm hopefully gonna get this pile burned down to about, let's call it 80, 90%. That'd be good. Kind of what I'm guessing is those two root balls, they're not gonna get burnt up. What I'm going for at this point is that it burns enough of it that I can just use the chainsaw, lop up the few big logs that are left, and I can pack them to another brush pile, and then we can try this again later. You know, throw these root balls on top of another pile with the logs, and then they'll eventually get burned up that way. But we're gonna let it burn down tonight. I'll probably stir it again in the morning, but that'll probably be about it. It'll be whatever it'll be. So